I've always loved Christmas. The lights, the music, the smell of hot cocoa, it's my favorite time of year. My wife and I moved into this neighborhood 5 years ago, and every December I'd decorate our home with a few strings of lights, a glowing reindeer in the yard, and a big inflatable Santa for the kids next door. Nothing crazy, just cheerful. But this year was different. A week after Thanksgiving, I hung up my usual decorations. The neighborhood looked dull. Barely anyone had started putting up lights yet. So I figured I'd brighten things up early. The very next morning, there was a letter taped to my front door. It was from the Homeowners Association, specifically signed by Karen Thompson, the HOA president. The letter said my unauthorized holiday decorations violated community standards, and that I owed a $500 fine for public nuisance lighting. I actually laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But when I checked my HOA account online, the fine was real. $500 for Christmas lights. I decided to go to the HOA office and clear it up. When I walked in, Karen was behind the front desk with that tight-lipped smile that could curdle milk. "Mr. Reynolds," she said in that syrupy sweet tone that really meant I hate you, "your decorations are excessive for this stage of the season. We have guidelines." "Guidelines?" I asked. "It's Christmas, not a rock concert." She folded her arms. "We maintain a certain aesthetic. You've disrupted the neighborhood's visual harmony. Pay the fine or we'll add late fees." I tried reasoning with her, but it was like arguing with a wall made of peppermint and pure spite. As I left, she called after me, "Oh, and please remove them by tomorrow, or we'll handle it ourselves." That night, I sat on the porch staring at my lights. My daughter came out holding a mug of cocoa. "Dad," she said softly, "why are you taking them down? They're pretty." I looked at her, then back at the twinkling lights reflecting in her eyes. And in that moment, I decided something. I wasn't taking anything down. If Karen thought my few lights were excessive, she hadn't seen anything yet. Next year's display, it was going to be legendary. After Karen's $500 fine, I made up my mind if she wanted to call my simple lights excessive, I was going to show her what excessive really looked like. The next day, I started planning. My wife, Lisa, rolled her eyes when I told her the idea. "John, you're seriously going to war with the HOA?" "Not war," I said, grinning. "Just creative expression." I spent the next few days gathering supplies. Every store in town had Christmas sales, and I hit them all. Home Depot, Lowe's, even that weird liquidation warehouse downtown. I bought thousands of LED lights, inflatable snowmen, reindeer, candy canes, and a full-size sleigh that could light up the night sky. By the end of the week, my garage looked like Santa's workshop had exploded. When I started putting them up, neighbors came by to watch. Most were supportive. They'd had their own run-ins with Karen over petty rules, grass too long, trash cans out too early, mailboxes too shiny. Mrs. Jenkins from across the street whispered. She even fined me for having a pink flamingo in my garden. That's when I realized this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about all of us. So I doubled down. I ordered a sound system to sync the lights with music. Jingle Bell Rock, Carol of the Bells. All I Want for Christmas Is You. The whole 9 yards. Every night after work, I'd climb ladders, untangle cords, and attach lights until my fingers went numb. Karen, of course, noticed. She started patrolling the street in her little silver SUV, slowing down in front of my house and taking pictures. One night, I was on the roof adjusting the reindeer when she stopped in the driveway. "Mr. Reynolds," she shouted, "you are in direct violation of HOA lighting codes. This is not Disneyland." I looked down at her and said, "Not yet, Karen, but give me a few more days." The look on her face could have melted snow. Word spread around the neighborhood. Kids started walking over after school to watch me set up. Some of them even helped. It became a community project. Laughter, music, hot chocolate, everyone pitching in. By December 10th, I was ready for the big reveal. My house wasn't just decorated. It was a winter wonderland. Lights draped over every inch, synchronized to music. Glowing snowflakes spinning from the roof. And a Santa sleigh that rose off the lawn with hidden supports. And I knew exactly who would hate it most. Karen. The night of the grand reveal arrived. I plugged in the master switch, and in an instant, my entire house exploded in color. Music blasted through hidden speakers, lights danced in perfect rhythm, and snow machines coated the front yard in a soft white blanket. It was magical. Cars started lining up the street. Families came out of their homes, and kids squealed with delight. My daughter spun in circles under the fake snow, yelling, "Dad! It's like the North Pole." But across the street, standing in the cold with her arms crossed, was Karen Thompson, the Grinch of the HOA. She was glaring at me like I'd personally ruined her entire year. Within minutes, she pulled out her phone and started filming. I could see her lips moving, probably recording evidence. Sure enough, the next morning, another letter appeared on my door. "Dear Mr. Reynolds, you are in violation of HOA noise, lighting, and public gathering policies. You are hereby fined an additional $1,000. Immediate removal of all decorations is required. Failure to comply will result in legal action." I laughed so hard my coffee nearly came out my nose. She really thought a few pieces of paper would stop me now. By noon, she was back, clipboard in hand, marching down my driveway like a mall cop on a mission. "Mr. Reynolds, this is outrageous. You've turned this neighborhood into a circus." I smiled. Actually, Karen, people seem to love it. "We raised $800 in donations last night for the local food bank." Her eyes narrowed. "That's irrelevant. You're disturbing the peace." "Peace?" I said. "You fined me for Christmas lights. The only thing I'm disturbing is your sense of control." Her face went bright red. She muttered something about calling the county and stomped off. That night, she tried again, this time calling the police. 2 officers showed up just as the music started playing. One of them, Officer Daniels, looked around smiling. "This is incredible," he said. "You do all this yourself?" "Yep," I replied. "Apparently it's illegal to have too much Christmas spirit." Karen appeared behind them, pointing wildly at the lights. "This man is violating HOA Code Section 14B. The officers exchanged looks, clearly trying not to laugh. "Ma'am," Daniels said politely, "we don't enforce HOA codes. Have a good evening." When they left, the crowd cheered. Karen stormed back to her car, defeated. But I knew it wasn't over. Because the next day I woke up to a notice that read, "HOA Emergency Meeting. Subject, Reynolds' holiday violations." Oh, it was on now. The emergency HOA meeting was scheduled for Saturday evening in the community center. Word spread fast. By the time I arrived, the place was packed. Some people were there for the drama, others to support me. And of course, front and center sat Karen, clutching her binder like it was a sacred text. She started the meeting with her usual passive-aggressive tone. "Residents," she began, "we are gathered to discuss a blatant and ongoing violation of our HOA's code of conduct, namely, Mr. Reynolds' unlawful and excessive Christmas display." People murmured. A few rolled their eyes. She went on, clicking through a slideshow of my house like she was presenting evidence in court. "As you can see, this spectacle has attracted outsiders, caused traffic congestion, and disrupted our community's peaceful atmosphere." When it was my turn to speak, I stood up slowly, holding a small envelope. "Karen," I said, "you fined me $500 for lights that were well within the HOA limits. You called my decorations a public nuisance, but these decorations brought our neighborhood together. We've had more people talking, laughing, and celebrating than ever before. And guess what?" I opened the envelope and pulled out a printed receipt. "We've raised over $5,200 in donations for the local children's hospital, all from visitors who came to see the lights." Gasps and applause filled the room. Even some of the board members smiled. Karen's jaw tightened. "That doesn't change the fact that you broke the rules." "Actually," said one of the other board members, flipping through the HOA manual, "there's no clause restricting seasonal decorations, only permanent installations, and John's display is temporary." Karen's face drained of color. That can't be right." "Oh, it's right," the board member said, smirking. The room erupted in cheers. For once, Karen had nothing to say. A week later, she officially resigned as HOA president, citing stress and lack of community cooperation. No one missed her. As for me, my display became a yearly tradition. Local news outlets even covered it. The house that beat the HOA. Cars lined the block every December, kids sang carols, and the spirit of Christmas came alive stronger than ever. One snowy evening, I stood on the porch with my family watching the lights twinkle across the yard. My daughter tugged my sleeve and said, "Dad, even Karen would like it if she saw it now." I smiled. Maybe she would. But either way, I flipped the switch and the neighborhood glowed like a dream. And we're never turning the lights off again.